everyone, my name is Lori and I'm a parent educator here at Family Futures Resource Network. I want to welcome you to the first segment of our new BabyNet program. We're so excited to get started and to connect with you. This program will explore the joys and challenges of being a new parent. Some of the topics we will be covering include how to find reliable information, attachment and bonding with your baby, sleeping and crying, stages of development, and much more. This program is best suited for parents with babies up to 1 year. However, if you do have older children in the home and you've just had a new baby, you might find this program to be a great refresher. We will also finish each weekly segment with a question of the week and a weekly challenge. Please send in your questions, as chances are if you have this question, then others will also. Let's get started. Today we're going to talk about the importance of self-care when you have a new little one at home. We're going to start off today with a quote about self-care. So it's important to look after yourself so that those you love get the best of you and not what's left of you. And that quote is from someone named Katie Reed. And I think this quote really captures what we're trying to say about self-care. Even though it can be very difficult to do, we've got the demands of parenting on you 24/7. It is essential to look after yourself in order that you have that energy and that capability to look after your loved ones and to keep up with the demands of parenting. So one of the most powerful things that you can do for your child is to provide a loving and supportive, caring environment. Nothing gives your child more confidence and security than knowing that you love them and that you'll take care of them and that you'll keep them safe from harm. But let's face it, being a new parent is very tiring. You have physical and emotional demands on you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But that's why it is so vital and so important that you take care of yourself so that you can continue to provide your little one with that loving care. So in many of our adult programs, we like to use the analogy of the airplane mask. So when that airplane mask comes down, we're instructed to put that mask on ourselves first so that we can turn and put it on our little ones, on our loved ones. And self-care is very much like that. Even though we can be quite drained, and self-care again can be very difficult to do, it is so important that we look after ourselves first, even just for those few minutes every day, so that we can wake up the next day with that renewed energy and be able to care for our family. So what I'm going to go through with you today is called Building Your Self-Care Nest. And NEST, in this instance, we're using that as an acronym, and it's going to stand for nutrition, exercise, sleep and rest, time for yourself, and support systems. So what this is really is building a wellness plan for yourself, taking care of those 5 different elements so that you can, in essence, build yourself your nest. So we'll start first with nutrition. And again, I'm speaking to both moms and dads, but there will be certain little elements here that I will just address to our moms. But for nutrition, it's important to sit down as much as possible to 3 meals a day. Even though you're busy and on the go and you can sometimes just be grabbing food, if you can sit down and be purposeful about eating 3 meals a day, that's very helpful. Another helpful tip is if you can prepare healthy snacks. So whether that's cut up fruits, cut up vegetables, leave those in the fridge. And that way when you are hungry and you're on the go, you can grab something that's really healthy from the fridge and that can hopefully be helpful for you. Drinking enough fluids in a day. This again, very, very important. So whether you're, for moms, if you're breastfeeding, or moms and dads, if you're breastfeeding, bottle feeding, make sure you have that water or that beverage beside you. Whether you're doing some other tasks or chores, folding laundry, that could be just another time that it's just really helpful to have your beverage, your water with you all the time so that as you're moving around the house, you can continually be trying to get that fluid in. And for moms as well, it's important to maybe contact your healthcare provider to just make sure that you're taking your multivitamins, and supplements that you need to be taking in that postpartum period. So that's N for nutrition. The next one is E for exercise. Now again, we don't want to be putting any undue pressure on anyone in terms of starting up a rigorous exercise routine. But we do find that it is very helpful in that postpartum period just to feel active and to get moving. So for families, it's important to choose activities that work best for you and your family. So what are some things that you liked to do before you had a little one? Maybe it was going out for walks together. That's something that we can still be doing now with our social distancing. Being consistent. So again, for moms, if you're just starting off, it's really important too to check in with your doctor for that postpartum period. So when you have that okay or that green light to start exercising, Start off with just small, consistent chunks during the day. This can be more effective at the beginning than occasional longer sessions. So even if you're just starting, I want to encourage you, if it's 5 minutes a day, moving up to 10 minutes a day, again, going out for walks right now, we're in that season of spring, that can be very, very helpful and very effective for lifting your mood as well. And again, some people do find that it can be a little bit more motivating if you have a friend or family member who's kind of exercising along with you. So a little bit more difficult right now. We don't have that availability to connect with others as we used to, but maybe that's something that you can do over Facebook, connecting with someone online or over the phone. But having that accountability or that workout buddy, so to speak, could be something that could really be motivating for you. There's lots of exercise content that's available online that you can check out as well. Again, we have, and the EPL, Edmonton Public Library, we know they're closed right now, but they have content available online for you too. And maybe it's something you want to share with friends. If you've got some old DVDs that are kicking around, we can stick them in our mailbox, we can share them with others. That can be something that can be really helpful as well. So just some tips for you in case you're looking for different ways that you can get exercising. Now, the S in our self-care nest stands for sleep and rest. So this is one, I know this is a troublesome one. We're talking to people who have just recently had a baby. Maybe your sleep is not consistent at all. I'm sure it's not. For a lot of new moms, new parents, we do hear that they can sometimes be getting into a routine, and then all of a sudden, just when you think you're getting into a sleep routine, that can change. All of a sudden our baby is teething or they're going through a growth spurt. Things can change overnight. So what are some things that you can do? Well, first of all, just know that those changes in routine will happen and they're very normal. So it's just a matter of adjusting when those changes do happen. But as much as possible for yourself, if you do get your baby into going to bed at a certain time each night, for you as well to try and get to bed at a reasonable time each night. And to, if possible, set yourself a bit of a routine or a bedtime ritual. So our bodies do kind of naturally fall into a habit of wanting to go to sleep if we do have a ritual that we can follow. So whether that's having a hot bath, watching a show maybe for a little bit, reading a book for a few minutes, these are all things that can kind of get our body into that habit of falling asleep. If you find that you are having trouble falling asleep, we also hear this commonly from parents as well, that their little one's in bed, they're exhausted, but suddenly they fall into bed and they almost have that wake up feeling. Their mind starts to go on a million different things. So it's possible there are a few things that you can do to help set that tone for sleep. So whether that's making sure that your bedroom is dark, quiet, and cool. Again, our days are getting a little bit longer, more daylight streaming in. So the more you can ensure that your room is dark and quiet, that can be helpful. Try avoiding some screen time right before bed. Now, this is, I know, we're all on our screens a lot more right now as well. So if that's something that you find could be keeping you up, there is that blue light that is emitted from our screens. So there is adjustments that you can set on them that could be helpful. But also maybe you just find that you need to not have screen time for a few hours before you're hoping to go to bed. And then also just check your caffeine limit as well. For our moms, I know sometimes we have cut out caffeine altogether, but if you find you are consuming small amounts of caffeine, that could also be something that you just want to look at in terms of how close to bedtime you're consuming your caffeine. So that's sleep and rest. The T stands for time for yourself. And again, this is something that is one of the more difficult ones. We all know babies are 24 hours a day, as I said, 7 days a week. So finding those periods of downtime or relaxation in your day, but it's so important. Even if you just find 5-10 minutes every day consistently, this will help you out quite a bit. Doing things that make you feel uplifted, joyful, recharged, whether that's spending time in nature, spending time reading a book. Maybe you've been having a book or an article that have been dying to get to for a few days. What are some things that you can do to make yourself feel happy? Spending time in nature, connecting with others. Again, our times have changed right now, but is that something that would help you to just carve out that little bit of time to connect with someone that you've been wanting to connect with? But yes, instead of saving up that time for yourself and just having one big thing, say at the end of the week or at the end of the month, is there something that you can do in that time that you can take every single day? And then the last one in our self-care nest is our support systems. So it's very important that you be direct and specific in asking for what you need. The postpartum period is difficult and there's more on your plate than ever before. So what are some things that you can do in terms of being direct and specific and asking for what you need? There's a lot of avenues for support out there, but our world does look a little different. Our city looks a little different, but I just want to encourage you in some things that I know that you still would be able to access. So definitely still keep in touch with your family physician if there's concerns that you may have about your health. The public health centers are still open, so you're able to go in there, pop in, speak to a public health nurse. There's family and friends that we can reach out to. Again, it might look a little bit different right now, but you can still definitely, I encourage you to reach out to family and friends about how you're doing. You can certainly still contact us here at Family Futures Resource Network, and we also do have a community resource navigator on our staff, and she's able to help you with any resources, extra resources that you might be looking for throughout the city. Check out different faith groups if you belong to other community groups or faith groups. They are still likely open, but they're just connecting with people in different ways. And I'm sure they would be more than happy if you reached out to them for some help as well. You're still able to dial 811, which is HealthLink Alberta. I would caution you that there might be a bit of a wait time right now due to the COVID pandemic, but you still are able to call 811. And you're also still able to call 211, which is the City of Edmonton helpline, and they can help with all kinds of basic resources that are throughout the city. As well, they do have a 24-hour hotline that you can call as well. So those are some ideas that I do have for you in terms of building your self-care nest. I hope that you found that helpful. So now I'm going to turn your attention to our question of the week. So this question came in this week to our agency, and it asks, if there's older children in the home who are now home due to the COVID pandemic, how can I manage to look after my baby and also maintain some structure for the older children as well? So, very challenging situation. If you have older children in the home, I'm sure before the pandemic, you had maybe a bit of a routine going where you would get up, you'd take your older children to school or daycare or play school, and then you'd come home and have that time with your baby, and maybe you were getting into a bit of a schedule for yourself with your baby. But now that's all been flipped on its head, and you may have those children home, or you will have those kids home with you, and they're going to be having their own routines that need to be going through as well in terms of their schoolwork, and suddenly you have a lot on your plate. So what are some things you can do? I'd like to give you 3 ideas. The first one would be to prioritize what you need to do each day. It's possible that it might be a good idea if you need to write out a list of what you actually need to get done in a day, or just have that list in your head. That might be just one more step to have to write it down. But it's important to have realistic expectations right now of what you might be able to accomplish in a day. I know that I myself have had to do that as well. We're not necessarily going to be getting everything done that we may be used to. There's a lot more things on our plate right now in terms of helping children with schoolwork. So definitely just think about what it is that's really important that you need to accomplish that day, and then let the rest of it go, and don't worry, it will be there tomorrow. The second one is, can you involve your older children in some of the household chores? This can be a really great idea. It's important if you can to have them to help out. Are they able to help you cooking with meals? Are they able to help do certain chores like folding laundry? And maybe there's a way that you can incorporate some of their school lessons into some of the things that you need to do around the house. Cooking is a great time to learn maybe some math lessons. There's fractions in there somewhere. So yeah, see if there's ways that you can involve your older children more and more in some of the things around the house. Particularly now, there's lots of new jobs that are emerging for outside in terms of planting and cleaning up the out of doors as well. So that's the second great idea. And then the third one would be, if possible, to put your older children on a schedule, and then a schedule for your self-care. So notice I did not say put the baby on a schedule, because we know that that's just maybe not going to happen. But if there's a way that you could have your older children on a schedule, getting up, eating breakfast, doing schoolwork, doing chores, having free time, whatever works best for your family, and it's important to talk about that together as a family. And then what would be a schedule that you could possibly have for your self-care too? We've just went through our self-care nest. So possibly there might be some different elements in there that you would want to emphasize and you would want to work on, but maybe carving some specific time each day and making a real purposeful effort at it would be a good idea for you. So now we want to turn to our weekly challenge. So this week we are going to have a self-care challenge, and that's going to be to try and find at least 10 minutes tomorrow to do something just for yourself. So whether that's to have a cup of tea, maybe read that article or start that book that you've been longing to do, phone a friend, practice some relaxation techniques, go for a walk, or take a bath. So whatever that might be that would be really important to you to help you feel energized and re-energized to carry on, I would encourage you to try that tomorrow. So before I wrap up, I just want to announce to you a couple other programs that you might be interested in tuning into in the next few days. Parenting on Purpose is going to be airing on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. As well, Virtual Rhymes, Songs, and Storytime is also going to be airing every Friday. And then our virtual Baby Sing and Sensory Play program will be happening that's going to be airing on Friday, May 1st. And this is very exciting. For past participants, you know that this program, when we do have this program in person at our center, is very, very popular. And we often can't host as many families as we wish we could. So this is a great opportunity for you to tune in and see our new virtual Baby Sing and Sensory Play program. And I just want to reiterate to you that if you need anything at all, please do not hesitate to reach out and contact us here at Family Futures. And next week on Tuesday, I will be discussing establishing healthy supports. I'll be talking about the difference between baby blues and postpartum depression and how to access reliable information. So very, very important topics. So thank you so much for watching this week's first episode of the BabyNet program. And I hope you have a great day and I hope you stay safe. See you next week.